Hi, ever wonder what it's like to work another profession or live in the underworld? Listen to unsuspecting riders give a 10 to 15 minute personal masterclass as I spontaneously interview them as they enter my taxi. I'm your host, Simon Rushton, and this is Taxi Chronicles. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode and another rider. Today we have a lovely lady and she's in the pharmaceutical industry and she's going to tell us what it was like studying and how she got into the industry and the best route that she knows today to get into the industry. So those younger listeners out there who do want to be in the pharmaceutical industry can learn from her experience. So nice to have you here today, Sally.
It's nice to be here.
So tell us, first of all, what made you want to become a pharmaceutical lady?
While I was at school, I was very confused about what I wanted to get into. So I did a lot of work experience in lots of different industries. I worked in a dentist, a GP practice, and then in the pharmacy. I felt like pharmacy was like a really good place where loads of people in the community can access for free a good opportunity, well-placed person just to help everyone in the community. Mm-hmm. So that really drew me to the idea of being in that industry.
So you have a sense of caring about you?
I'd say so, yeah.
That's nice. So what was the route that you chose, academic? Like, what was your GCSEs? How did you decide the route and what qualifications did you decide to go down?
So at GCSE I did triple science, French, IT, history and media. And then at A-level I selected chemistry, biology, economics and maths.
What? Wait a minute, let's take that again. Chemistry, biology,
economics and maths.
That's 4.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter's doing 3 and I'm understanding that those aren't easy subjects. Well, why did you do economics and maths?
I wasn't sure at that point. I hadn't decided yet. So I was trying to keep my options open. I could go down the business route, do something in that field, or the science route, and like in the medical profession. So I was trying to keep my options open. At the time of picking it felt like a good idea. When I was actually doing it, I did regret that decision because it was really hard.
So no friends, no boyfriends during that time?
No, there was literally just books.
Yeah, that's what my daughter's life's like. And being a father, I'm more than happy that she's just got her head in the books and no boyfriend. I don't want to hear about no boyfriend at all. Yeah. But anyway, so what was the outcome of studying those 4 A-levels? What grades did you get?
So I got 2 A's and 2 B's.
Wow.
Which was enough for me to get into uni. And then I went to the University of Brighton.
Is that your first choice?
It wasn't my first choice, but
What was your first choice?
My first choice was King's, but they needed 3 A's and 1 B, so I only got 2 A's.
Okay.
But Brighton was my second choice, and it worked out for the best because Brighton's a really nice university. It's a nice area, out of London, and it felt nice being there by the sea. So I did 4 years of uni because it was a master's, which is again difficult 4 years, very long, but we managed. And then after I got a first in my degree. And after uni I had to do a 1-year training program before I could become a pharmacist. So you do a year where you're working and then you have an exam at the end. Passed that exam and then as of September 2019 I was a pharmacist.
Okay, well done, you deserve it. And you're happy in what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm happy.
That's good. Now, a couple of questions there. The first question is, what did you learn that you wish you knew when you had started throughout your studying period?
I think nowhere in your academics, in any field that you do they teach you how to deal with different types of people, because when you get into a role where you're people facing, you don't get taught how to deal with someone with, like, if it's an addict and their nature of speaking is completely different to another person. You have to adapt your own personality to fit that, and that it's never taught to you. It's something that you get into that situation, and you just have to learn to think on your feet. So
okay, so that's interesting. There, I asked the question. So how would you deal with an addict?
I mean, I think you have to see how the person is themselves. So most of the time, when they've been judged by so many people and wherever they are, they usually come into a pharmacy quite angry, and they don't really want to speak to you. But if you deal with them quite calmly, they're actually the most interesting people that I've actually met. They have so many life experiences, reasons why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
And they're actually one of my favourite people to talk to at work, because their background is always so interesting. And it's nice because they're on this path of recovery, and you can help them in that journey, but be their friend at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean. But I suppose it's a bit risky if you're kind of being their friend, because some people are playing that, say, give me extra.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do that.
I'm not saying you do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You have to find the balance.
Yeah, because they're good con people.
Yeah.
Addicts are very good, because they've lived a life.
Yeah. They've
lived an interesting life, I can tell you that. Not that I've ever taken drugs, but they've lived an interesting life. So on that basis alone, So if you could do it all again, would you still be a pharmacist?
If I could go back to the beginning and pick everything over again from GCSEs, I might choose something a bit different. I might choose, my hobbies are completely different, so I might choose something like engineering or things. Okay. But I'm happy with my decision. Okay.
When you say your hobbies, what hobbies are that?
So I do find astronomy quite interesting, stars, okay. Astrophysics. So that is something that I like to focus on in my spare time. Mm-hmm. It would have been nice to actually have made that my profession, because it's something that I find really interesting. But I mean, I'm happy with the decisions I've made ultimately.
You can still do that though.
I can.
You know what? Go on.
I mean, it's something I've thought about, but just the going back to uni, going back and starting from scratch, you have to be ready, mentally, to go back and do that.
Yeah, I would have said you can still do that without going to uni. And why I say that is nowadays, your love of a subject and your hobbies, you can. Many lectures, even Harvard lectures, are on the internet. So you could talk about there's some professor or someone who's putting their stuff out there. You compliment them, like, what's that guy, the black astronomist guy? Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah. So if you've said to him, this is, I've really been following you, I really like your stuff, how about you put more lectures out there, or can you ask this question, or do you do these courses? That's probably going to carry more weight in the industry than pay 27 grand for another degree. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? And if it's going well, then they start to liaise with you. Oh, can you handle this bit of work? Yeah. And then you put on your thing. Yeah, I've working with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, I mean that is true. That is also very difficult to do, because the chances of Neil deGrasse Tyson picking my message out of all the hundreds of messages he probably gets.
You don't know until you try.
I know.
And you don't know if he gets hundreds of messages. Yeah. He might get hundreds of messages of fan mail, like, oh, I love you, thing, or whatever, You don't know what. So all I'm saying is just try. But back to the other thing. So if you could do it all again in the sense of the route of education that you took to become a pharmacist, is there anything you would change?
Not necessarily, because I think with becoming a pharmacist, there is only one route you can take, in terms of you have to go to uni, and to get into uni, they ask you to do very specific subjects at A level.
And that would include the maths?
It's maths and chemistry that are essential.
So you could have dropped the economics?
I could have, yeah.
But you'd have still needed 4 A's, 3 A's.
In the 3 that, yes, you could do.
3. So
yeah.
you need to do a minimum of 3 A levels?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So I think the route isn't necessarily optional. They don't really give you much choice.
So, would it have been fair to say, if you had done 3 A levels, you'd have probably got 3 A's? Because you'd have
probably, yeah.
You'd have split your energy.
Yeah.
On the last one, it's like you push the envelope. Okay, that's good. So, tell us, what's a typical day like for you as a pharmacist? You spoke about some of the interesting characters.
I mean, every day is so different. You just don't know who's going to walk through the door. We have our regular patients that come in, and it's nice because you know them, you know their families, and it's, for some people, it's just a place to come and talk. Elderly people, who don't really have anyone, they like to come in and just have a chat. So in that sense, it's quite nice. And then you get unusual cases where people don't feel like they're disturbing their doctor, so they want to come to the pharmacy, especially now with COVID, where it's been very hard to get a doctor's appointment. So people want to come in.
Get a repeat prescription.
Yeah, I mean, that's one side of things, but more people, I don't know about every pharmacy, but where I work, it's in a very community area where there's lots of houses around. So people just want advice more than anything, more than medication. They want to know what to do. So I think that's why pharmacists are really well placed, because you can tell people where they should go. If you can't necessarily help them, you're like that signposting place where you can tell people, you need to go here, you need to go there.
Okay, that's interesting. So, what does the future hold for you?
Well, hopefully after I've been qualified for 2 years in September, I can do another course where I can become a prescriber. So I can actually write prescriptions like a doctor. So for certain conditions I can specialise in.
How long is that, sorry?
So that's a year,
okay.
9 months to a year. So I can pick like diabetes, and then anything in diabetes, if a patient comes in, I can write the prescription. The patient doesn't need to go to the doctor. So
you're specialising niche. It's a niche.
Yeah, and you can do that in many different niches over time.
So and then you get qualified more and more.
Yeah.
So does pay go up the more and more you get qualified?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a real career thing then.
Yeah.
So that sounds like that's actually a better profession than a GP. The GP,
in a way,
a GP, and then your pay is probably kind of set in line with this work experience.
Yeah.
But you kind of got an avenue where you can, I'm going to get more money, I'm going to do this course.
Yeah.
But do you pay for the course?
Yeah, you have to pay for it yourself. So I think it's
the $9,000. $9,000 every time, and they're not going to give you $9,000 back in the year, are they?
No.
I think you might as well.
But I think in the long run, it works out. It's worth it, because the money you earn from having that course will pay for it itself.
Good. After tax? Okay. Well, it's 30 years. Yeah. Okay. Well, I will not, coming from a taxi driver, I will not, I don't think I'm qualified to comment in that respect, but I wish you well in what you're doing. The last question is, what's the impact you want to have in the world?
I mean, I think just knowing that you've made a difference to someone's life is a big enough impact in itself, which I feel like on a day-to-day basis, when patients come back and they're really thankful, and they just say, just thank you for listening, that kind of, it makes it feel like all those long hours have been worth it. And so that's the type of impact that I want to have. Just knowing that, even if it's just one person in a whole day of helping 100 people that comes back and says, you really helped.
Yeah, that's good. Anyway, thanks. Last question, sorry, is What qualities would you say somebody needs to have to do your job?
Patience.
Yeah.
Empathy.
Yeah.
You have to be very determined. It's a very long career path in terms of education, the 4 years of uni. You have to really want it, because it's really easy to give up on a path where you've just got exams after exams for so long. And even after you qualify, just if you want to go further, you have to do more studying and more exams. So you have to be very determined, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well in your further endeavours. We hope you liked that interview. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get the latest daily episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economy and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources? Then listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you will hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m.